Welcome back to 100 more worthwhile DOS games, where I replace 100 games one by one. Today's game is Rise of the Triad, a gore-soaked, ludicrous chibfest of a shooter. Originally started as a sequel to Wolf3D, it uses a heavily modified version of that engine and goes nuts with it. Ridiculous weaponry and power-ups, pads that launch you into the air, a host of unforgiving hit-scanning baddies to slay, and some truly bizarre maps to navigate, set Rise of the Triad apart from its competitors. It's completely unforgiving and utterly brutal, and that gives us a bit of a problem when it comes to replacing it. How do you replace a game whose whole shtick is that it's completely different from the surrounding countryside? You don't. You pivot. Rise of the Triad was based on the Wolf3D engine, but it wasn't the only game to utilise the genius of John Carmack. Unfortunately, its stablemates are mostly id Software prototypes and terrible capstone games, except one that's commercially available and sitting on 93% positive reviews on Steam. Wait, what? That's right. Super 3D Noah's Ark! A commercial failure that was deemed a strange Christian clone of Wolf3D. You are Noah on the Ark, and you have to feed the animals and make sure they go back to sleep. The cartoonish graphics and family-friendly environment, combined with the strict adherence to the original Wolf3D gameplay, means that this is the complete antithesis to Rise of the Triad. So why am I replacing that game with this one? Because it proved that you can make a brilliant FPS by going in the complete opposite direction. And Super 3D Noah's Ark has had one of the greatest renaissances of any shooter. In 2014 the game was re-released for its 20th anniversary, and the internet found that hilarious. The idea of a Christian knockoff game getting its engine upgraded to a quality source port and re-released on digital platforms is an amusing one. People lined up to have a meme-worthy playthrough of it and make fun of the silly title, only to discover that it's actually right up there with Wolf3D. It's one asset swap away from being a direct sequel, or at the very least a superb expansion. You navigate your way through the bowels of the Ark you've constructed and pacify all your animal cohorts, who are relentless in their attempts to prevent you from doing so. It has all the hallmarks of a classic DOS shooter. Huge maze-like levels that are saved from being frustrating thanks to the source port's auto map. A variety of weapons for Noah to send animals to sleep with, boss battles to contest, and excellent placement of power-ups. Sure, it has the same problem Wolf3D suffers in that the levels can get a bit repetitive, but if you want a difficult FPS to grapple with, then Super 3D Noah's Ark doesn't disappoint, with cheap deaths and unfair expectations galore. The only downside to the game, aside from the fact that it's on the Wolf engine rather than id Tech 1, is that the score isn't great. Fortunately, you can replace this with something more appropriate, like something by Bobby Prince or Lee Jackson. Yeah, Noah! Send those animals to sleep!